Catapult Turtle. Card type monster. Attribute water. Types Aqua Effect Level 5 Attack 1000 Defense 2000. Once per turn, you contribute one monster. Inflict damage to your opponent equal to half the tributed monster's attack on the field. Card trivia Catapult Turtle. This is the first card to receive a functional errata. This is the first monster card and the second card overall after Imperial Order to be forbidden after receiving an errata. This was the only card at that time that was never put on a ban list to receive a functional errata. This monster has a retrained counterpart, Artillery Catapult Turtle. This monster has a retrained Rush Duel counterpart, Launcher Catapult Turtle. This monster also has a younger Rush Duel counterpart, Catapult Baby Turtle. In the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, during the Duelist Kingdom arc, Yami Yugi used this monster to tribute a monster he once owned, or taken from the opponent with brain control. This monster was never used again during the Battle City and Virtual World arcs in light of Yami Yugi's mantra against sacrificing monsters to achieve victory. However, during the Waking the Dragons arc, this monster was used once more during Yami Yugi's first duel with Raphael, representing the change in Yami Yugi's opinion for sacrificing monsters under the influence of the Orichalcos. The Bandai version of this monster is a level 6 beast monster with an original attack and defense of 1600 and 2200. The Konami version is a level 5 Aqua monster with an original attack and defense of 1000 and 2000. In Yu-Gi-Oh! The Falsebound Kingdom, this monster is the anti-ground cannon, while Barrel Rock is the anti-air cannon. This card's OCG and TCG artwork is taken from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel 83, Duelist Duel 24, Swords of Light, specifically from the panel, showing this monster being summoned, albeit in an opposite position. Card appearances Catapult Turtle, Yu-Gi-Oh! This card's effect could destroy one card on the opponent's side of the field while inflicting half of the tributed monster's attack to the monster's owner. If its second effect to inflict damage is activated, the tributed monster's attack was first increased by 600 to increase the effect damage by 300. When this card's effect is activated, the tributed monster is shown getting onto the catapult on this monster before being launched. During Duelist Kingdom, this card will usually aim at the attributed monster at specific targets made by the controller. Starting with the Virtual World arc, this card will usually aim the attributed monster at the opponent. Duelist Kingdom. In episode 15 of Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against Panic. After summoning this card, Yugi activates this card's effect to increase the attack of Gaia the Dragon Champion by 600 and tribute it to fire Gaia the Dragon Champion at Panic's Castle of Dark Illusions. This causes Yugi to take damage equal to half the attack of Gaia the Dragon Champion, but it also destroys the castle's flotation ring. After Yugi ended his turn, the effect of Swords of Revealing Light expired, and that caused the Castle of Dark Illusions to fall down and crush Panic's monsters. Barox, Dark Chimera, King of Yami Makai, and Metal Guardian. Chaos Shield then inflicts damage to Panic equal to the defense of Castle of Dark Illusions, winning Yugi the duel. In episode 30, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against My Valentine. After summoning this card, Yugi activates this card's effect to tribute Mai's Harpy's pet dragon, who Yugi took control of via brain control. Inflict half the attack of Harpy's pet dragon as damage to Mai and destroy Mai's mirror wall. Mai was about to attack this card with her Harpy Lady and win the duel, but she chose not to as she assumed Yugi's set card was a trap. This turned out to be a bluff as Yugi then activates Monster Recovery to return this card and his hand to his deck and draw 5 new cards. In episode 42, Yugi Moto uses this card during his duel against Rebecca Hawkins. After this card is summoned, Yugi activates Brain Control to take control of Rebecca's Millennium Shield. Yugi then activates this card's effect to tribute Millennium Shield and inflict half its attack as damage to Rebecca. Summon Skull then attacks and destroys Cannon Soldier. Later, Rebecca activates Judgment Blaster to destroy this card and summon Skull. Legendary Heroes. In episode 45, Yami Yugi uses this card during the Legendary Heroes arc. He uses this card to launch Karibo at the Great Moths. Yugi then activates Multiply to turn Karibo into a swarm. The swarm then hits and self-destructs on the Great Moths, destroying them. Virtual World. In episode 111, the Big Five use this card during their tag duel against Yami Yugi and Joey Wheeler. Crump normal summons this card without tribute due to a legendary ocean. This card then gains 200 attack and defense from the effect of a legendary ocean and 200 more attack from the Deckmaster ability of Nightmare Penguin. After Joey activates Harpy's Feather Duster to destroy a legendary ocean, this card loses the boost it got from a legendary ocean. After Johnson takes over for Crump, this card loses the boost it got from the Deckmaster ability of Nightmare Penguin. In the next episode, Johnson activates this card's effect to tribute Hysteric Fairy and inflict half of the latter's attack as damage to Joey. He wanted to eliminate Joey first as he believed that Joey was the weaker duelist that he was dueling. Later, Rocket Warrior, whose attack was 2500 due to Joey using the Deckmaster ability of Flame Swordsman, attacks and destroys this card. Johnson then activates Revenge Sacrifice to tribute Rocket Warrior and special summon Machine King. In episode 113, this card appears in a flashback Yami Yugi has when he remembers Joey using the Deckmaster ability of Flame Swordsman to transfer 1000 of its attack to Rocket Warrior, which is why Joey was able to use Silver Dollar on Flame Swordsman when it intercepted the attack. Berserk Dragon Maid on Dark Magician. Waking the Dragons. In episode 158, Yami Yugi uses this card during his duel against Raphael. He tribute summons this card by tributing Big Shield Gardna. This card then gains 500 attack due to the Seal of Orichalcos. Yami Yugi planned to tribute his Curry Babylon for this card's effect, but Raphael activates Limit Tribute to allow both players to tribute only one monster per turn. Raphael then activates Nightmare Binding to prevent Curry Babylon from being used as a tribute. Yami Yugi then activates this card's effect to tribute his Dark Magician and inflict half of the latter monster's attack as damage to Raphael. On Yami's next turn, he activates this card's effect to tribute Dark Magician Girl and inflict half of the latter monster's attack as damage to Raphael. But Raphael activates Shrink to halve the attack of Dark Magician Girl. The effect continues. This card remained on the field until the duel was over, but for dramatic effect was shown to be destroyed when Guardian Iatos destroys Curry Babylon. An important theme of this episode is Yami Yugi's reckless usage of this card's effect to carelessly damage Raphael for the sole purpose of winning. Therefore, Yami Yugi disrespects his monsters by just using them for personal gain. In episode 160, this card appears in a flashback Yami Yugi has when he remembers using Dark Magician Girl for this card's effects. This card is seen in another flashback Yami Yugi has when he saw that his own monsters were angry at him for his selfish actions, and when he lost his duel with Raphael. In episode 163, Yugi uses this card during his duel against Yami Yugi. He tribute summons this card by tributing Obnoxious Celtic Guard. This card then gains 500 attack due to the Seal of Orichalcos. Yami Yugi then remembers Yugi's strategy as the same strategy he used against Raphael. Like Yami Yugi when he dueled against Raphael, Yugi uses this card's effect just for his own good by using the said effect just to fight. Yugi then tributes Queen's Knight to activate this card's effect, inflicting damage to Yami Yugi equal to half the total attack of Queen's Knight. Yugi then tributes Dark Magician Girl to activate this card's effect, inflicting damage to Yami Yugi equal to half of Dark Magician Girl's total attack. But Yami Yugi activates Divine Wind to nullify the damage he would take and inflict damage to Yugi equal to the damage Yami Yugi would have taken plus 500, winning Yami Yugi the duel. By doing this, Yami Yugi was able to conquer the darkness in his heart and regain control over his emotions. This card also appears in a flashback that Yami Yugi has when he remembers the strategy he used against Raphael that was not only ruthless but also selfish. In episode 174, this card appears in a flashback Raphael has when he remembers defeating Yami Yugi back at the desert, but taking Yugi's soul instead of Yami Yugi's due to the former pushing the latter out of the way at the last second. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. In episode 168, this card can be seen in a display case, among others, as part of a replica of Yugimoto's deck. In episode 179, this card can be seen in a display case, among others, as part of a replica of Yugimoto's deck. Scripted duels. In the non-canon duel YCS Providence 2012 special, Mai, Joey, and Yugi vs. Pegasus and Bakura, Yami Yugi uses this card against Pegasus. Due to the effect of cost down, this card is treated as level 3 in the hand, allowing Yugi to normal summon this card without tribute. The same turn, he uses Catapult Turtle's effect, tributing his Silver Fang to destroy Pegasus's Toon World. Later, after Yami Bakura takes over for Pegasus, Bakura uses Dark Spirit of the Silent to force Catapult Turtle to attack Bakura's Jogen the Spiritualist. As Dark Spirit of the Silent forces this card into attack mode, Yugi takes battle damage when Bakura attacks and destroys Catapult Turtle with Dark Ruler, Hades.